What's up, guys? We're back for another week of best bets and props. This time it's for UFC Vegas 52. Amanda Lemos challenging Jessica Andrade. And I like the main event a lot, and there's a lot of fun fights on this card. But for me, personally, betting-wise, it's going to be a lighter week for me. I don't see a whole lot of the spots that I like. There are quite a few spots that I'm confident that will not see the judges' scorecards. But the prices are just so outrageous on some of these numbers that, I can't quite get there, And by the numbers statistically, sure, there's a lot of fighters that haven't seen the later rounds of fights or fighters that have a pattern of finishing fights. But, it's hard enough, I say this all the time, it's hard enough to choose the fighter that's going to win, much less how they do it. And I don't like to pay a lot of money to try to choose how they're going to do it. If I'm getting close to even money or plus money to choose a prop, then I'll go that route. But, paying minus 300 or whatever for Tyson Pedro to finish inside the distance is, it's a bet I'm not going to make. So, my confident fighters in this card, Alexander Romanov, but he's like a minus 2,000 favorite, so there's not much to work with there. Other ones that I like, Tyson Pedro, I'm very confident in. He's probably nearing like a minus 600 favorite. I like him to win by submission probably, and that's the clearest path to victory. But we haven't seen the guy in about 3 years, and you're only getting like plus 130 or something like that on the submission prop. So that's not enough for me to really predict in my crystal ball how he's going to win the fight. Moneyline fighters that I do like, I've got 2 of them this week. I like Aoriqileng to beat Cameron Else, and I like him. He's minus 230 on the money line, and that's held pretty solid all week. So I have that personally. I like him to win this fight. Both of these two guys are kind of fighting for their win in the octagon here. Now, Aoriqileng showed toughness, durability, and and a will to make the fight competitive in his 2 outings so far. When he fought Jeff Molina, very, very high volume, high paced fight, showed his toughness. And then when he fought Cody Durden, once again, showed his ability to go 3 rounds, make it a close competitive fight. I haven't seen that from Cameron Else. Cameron Else is like kind of a kill-or-be-killed fighter based on his professional MMA record. And then, his 1 outing in the UFC, albeit it was to Kyler Phillips, who's pretty good. But he wasn't able to display any amount of durability in that fight. So, I think it's a clear pick for Aoriqileng. He showed that he can go all the way to the judges' scorecard, something we have not seen from Cameron Else. And, he can make fights very, very high-paced and competitive. I think he could win inside the distance or by decision here. And I think the money line is a pretty good deal at minus 230. I expect him to win, closer to 75% of the time. Maybe even 80% of the time. I'm pretty confident in him to do that, and you're getting some value on that minus 230. So moving on to the next fighter who is in the main event is Jessica Andrade. I'm pretty confident in her, pretty much as confident as I am in Aoriqileng to win. And I was able to get Jessica Andrade at minus 177. With all of her experience, a former champion, somebody who's only beaten and lost, she's only lost in her career to the very, very best. We're talking Rose Namajunas, we're talking, Shevchenko. So she's been under the bright lights before of a 5-round championship fight many times. She's looking to do it again. She is switching weight classes here. But she hasn't seemed to, especially in her last fight in September, she hasn't seemed to have lost that championship caliber, the ability to finish fights, the ability to really put the hurt on women. And, she's got the whole package. She's got the striking. The only thing that she's missing in the whole package is the tail of the tape. The size. She's always going to be outsized, but she's got good cardio. She's got a clear grappling advantages in this fight if she can take it that route. I hope she does. She's probably got a power advantage. And Amanda Lemos is very talented too, and she's been able to tear through and get a very good record against some of the lower level women. But as soon as she fought like an Angela Hill, it's a very, very, very close fight, which she may or may not have won. It was super close. So, this is a big experience gap between the 2 women here. And, if you're going to give me under minus 200 for a former champion with the caliber of Jessica Andrade to win, I'm going to take that every single time. So I know she's now skyrocketed to like a minus 220, minus 230, maybe even minus 240 favorite now that she's made weight and looked okay on the scales. I think you're going to get the most value going minus 200 and below, obviously, and that's probably where I personally would cap it off. I probably wouldn't load up too heavy on her now at this price tag. I think Amanda Lemos is dangerous, obviously a fast starter and has power in her hands. So the thing that sketches me out is the new weight class for Andraj. And, that's just the size disadvantage. So I do think that you're probably safe to play her on the money line. She probably is parlayable, but I think you're getting, I think the value limit for me is about minus 200. So like I said, I got her at minus 177, and I'm pretty comfortable with that bet. Some props to go along with that fight now. This is at women's strawweight, 115, returning weight class for Jessica Andrade. Now, you're actually getting some pretty good, since both these women are potent finishers, you're getting some very good numbers for the overs in this fight. I know a lot of the focus this week has been on the unders, and the fight doesn't go to decision for a lot of the other fights, but we're talking about women's 115, where these women that we're talking about particularly have a lot of power, but these two women are pretty durable as well. The only time that we saw Andrade falter recently with her durability was to Valentina Shevchenko, where she got trapped and kind of pounded out in that championship fight, and then the last time that we saw, the only time that we saw Amanda Lemos finished was in her fight against Leslie Smith, all the way up at 135 for a former weight class, where she was kind of outsized and out-muscled there. So the overs for this fight, I like. Over 2.5 is minus 155. I think that's a very good steal for a women's strawweight fight. Over 3.5 is now plus money, plus 105 for the over 3.5, and the over 4.5 is plus 130. Something that we tend to see in, even though these women are both fast starters and powerful, something that we tend to see with these main event fights and these 5-round fights is that, their game plan kind of changes a bit if they have a high fight IQ. They want to preserve themselves, ease into round 1, get the distance of their opponent a little bit, get their timing right, move into round 2. They don't want to expend all of their energy like the way they would in a 3-round fight. So I think they're going to take it a little bit slower. I think Jessica Andrade being back in this this new weight class will take it a little bit slow, and I think we at least get to that over 2.5. For minus 155, I don't think that's bad. Now, if you wanted to really gamble and go for that plus money, the over 3.5, you could do that too. You could do the medley of all three, which is what I might do for this. I might just put a small amount on each one of those, over 2.5, over 3.5, and over 4.5. And you're able to get all the way up to plus 130 at the end of that. So I like that a lot. Again, it is women's 115. I don't want to get blinded by the fact that these two women are very powerful. I think they are very durable as well, and I think that this being a 5-round fight will change the dynamic of how we see them, kind of pace themselves in this match. Another fight that's a time prop here that I like, fight goes to decision, but with Dwight Grant and Sergey Kondosko is only minus 150. So two guys at welterweight, two guys that are pretty low volume. Dwight Grant does have power, as does his opponent Sergey Khandozhko. But, both of these guys are kind of a little bit evenly matched. They both have good distance control. They both have a pattern of being very low volume, which will mean less chances for them to, have a fight-ending sequence. And, again, it's just kind of like the distance control of Dwight Grant and just his ability to kind of, paw at his opponent and be very low volume and kind of stay out of harm's way while not doing too much himself. I think he'll control the pace of this fight with that similar game plan. He may or may not win the fight, but I think this does see the judges' scorecards. And for minus 150, it's not a bad price tag for that. So, like I said, the betting for me personally is a little bit slim this week. I just see a lot of trapped lines. I see a lot of spots that I'm confident on, but the prices are just way too high this week for me. If you want to parlay some fight doesn't go to decisions, I think Tyson Pedro and Ike is up there. Obviously, the Romanov and Chase Sherman is up there. What's another one we got? Maybe Dean Barry, since he's never really, been to the scorecards either in his wins or losses. But maybe parlaying props is the way to go for this, but I'm too scared to kind of load up on the props this week. So just keeping it transparent with you guys. These are what I have. These are the value spots that I like. But I do hope we have a fun card. Since there's no name value on this week's card, I hope we have a lot of fun, violent finishes. So, all right, good luck in all your betting action, and we will see you next time.